lesser known but extraordinary figures from history. Ever felt like there's more to history than the names everyone knows? Well, buckle up, because we're about to embark on a journey that's going to introduce you to some seriously extraordinary figures who've been hiding in the shadows, a world of unsung heroes, bold innovators, and artistic visionaries. Are you ready to dive into the lives of lesser-known but extraordinary figures from history who've shaped our world in ways you never imagined? Philo Farnsworth, the father of television, 20th century, United States. Have you ever wondered who brought the magic of television into our lives? Well, let's talk about Philo Farnsworth, the genius behind it all. In the early 20th century, television didn't even exist yet. Philo Farnsworth was a young inventor with big dreams and was determined and fighting against all odds to turn his vision into reality. Philo wasn't just up against technical challenges. He also faced skepticism from those who doubted his ideas. But guess what? He didn't give up. Through countless experiments and sleepless nights, he cracked the code and invented the television system we use today. And that's not all. His invention wholly transformed how we communicate and entertain ourselves. Suddenly, people could see events happening miles away, right in their living rooms. The way we connect with the world changed forever. Let's give a nod to Philo Farnsworth for being the trailblazer who brought us the wonder of television. His story is a reminder that even in the face of challenges, a determined individual can change the course of history. Hedy Lamarr, actress and inventor, 20th century Austria. Next is the fascinating world of Hedy Lamarr, a name you might not expect to find in the history books. She wasn't just a Hollywood star, she had a knack for science and innovation too. In the glamorous golden age of Hollywood, Hedy Lamarr was gracing the silver screen with her beauty and talent. But guess what? She had a whole other side, an inventive mind that was way ahead of its time. Amidst her film career, Hedy was also cooking up ideas that would shape the future. She teamed up with a composer to develop a technology that would help the Navy communicate without interference during World War II. Their invention laid the groundwork for modern wireless communication, the stuff we rely on for everything from smartphones to Wi-Fi. Imagine the impact of that breakthrough on our world today, and it wouldn't have been possible without that. Hedy Lamarr's story tells us that brilliance can come from unexpected places. She shattered stereotypes and proved that you don't have to fit into a single box. Hedy was a Hollywood icon who left her mark on the tech world. Emmy Nother, trailblazer in mathematics, 20th century Germany. Women were never behind in anything. Another such woman was Emmy Nother, a name that might not roll off the tongue like some others. But her contributions to the world of math and physics are pure gold. In the early 20th century, a time when women in academia were a rarity, Emmy Nother was breaking all the rules and defying norms. She dove headfirst into abstract algebra and theoretical physics and shocked the world. Emmy's work laid the foundation for some of the most mind-bending concepts in modern physics. She didn't just crunch numbers, she redefined the way we think about the universe. Her elegant theorems and insights still shape the way scientists approach problems today. Her influence is like a ripple effect. It's everywhere. From quantum mechanics to general relativity, Emmy's fingerprints are all over the theories that have shaped our understanding of the cosmos. So, whenever you hear the name Emmy Nother, don't just think of it as a name. It is a symbol of breaking barriers and making your mark, no matter what challenges you face. She proved that brilliance knows no boundaries, and that's a lesson worth carrying with us through history and beyond. Ibn AlHaytham, the father of optics, 10th century Iraq. A journey back to ancient times in the 10th century, in the deserts of Iraq, Ibn AlHaytham was a true trailblazer who made a huge mark in the world of optics and science. It was a time when the world was still figuring out how light works. Ibn AlHaytham was shaking things up like a scientific rock star. He wasn't just content with the mysteries of light, he wanted to unravel them. Experimenting with lenses, mirrors, and lights, his discoveries not only led to better understanding, but they laid the groundwork for the modern field of optics. This guy was the original lightbender. Ibn AlHaytham didn't just tinker around, he introduced something revolutionary called the scientific method. Yep, that step-by-step process we all learn in school. He was the one who brought it to us. His approach to observation, experimentation, and forming conclusions set the stage for how we investigate the world today. That's like giving the DNA print for modern science. So whenever you marvel at the way light dances through a prism, or when you're learning about the scientific method, Ibn AlHaytham will pop up in your mind. He wasn't just a thinker, he was a doer, a visionary, and a game changer in the grand theater of human understanding. Queen Zinga, resistance against colonialism, 17th century, Ndongo, present-day Angola. Time to meet a queen who didn't just wear a crown, but also armor, leading her people with fierce determination. Queen Nzinga was the African queen of Ndongo, which is present-day Angola. During the 17th century, European powers were trying to carve up the African continent. But Nzinga wasn't about to let that happen without a fight. She stood up against Portuguese colonization. Her tactics were as bold as they were brilliant. She used diplomacy when she needed to, forming alliances to bolster her resistance. And when negotiations hit a wall, she grabbed a spear and led her troops into battle. This queen was the definition of leading from the front. Nzinga's legacy isn't just in the battles she fought, but also in the spirit she instilled in her people. She showed that you don't need a fancy title to make a difference. You just need the courage to stand up for what's right. Her resilience, her strategies, and her unyielding determination remind us that history is shaped by those who dare to defy the odds. Artemisia Gentileschi, Baroque trailblazer, 17th century Italy. Let's talk about a painter who not only left her mark on the canvas, but also shattered glass ceilings. Artemisia Gentileschi. In the Baroque era, it was a time when female artists were often overlooked. During those tough days, Artemisia was ready to make her bold strokes on history. She didn't let societal norms hold her back. She grabbed a paintbrush and showed the world what she was made of. Artemisia's art wasn't just beautiful, it was immensely powerful. Her paintings had this intensity that could draw you in and make you feel what her subjects were feeling. She wasn't just portraying scenes, but she was telling stories with her art. Her work has been the shine of blockbuster exhibitions, and Artemisia in particular has proven important for historians and novelists. Long a source of mystery, Gentileschi's most well-known work is currently housed at Florence's Uffizi Galleries. In the context of Gentileschi's own life, some feminist scholars have argued that the painting, which shows the Old Testament character Judith slaying an Assyrian king who had oppressed Jewish people. But it was her retaliation against Agostino Tassi, who sexually assaulted Gentileschi in the years before the painting was created. Artemisia wasn't just an artist. In a time when women were often confined to a narrow path, she forged her way. She paved the road for future generations of females to express their voices. Her influence rippled through time. Today we see her impact in the works of countless artists who've been inspired by her courage and her craft. Artemisia Gentileschi didn't just create art, she created a legacy that still speaks volumes today. Sesshu Toyo, Japanese ink painting master, 15th century Japan. And lastly, let's take a journey to the world of Japanese ink painting and meet a master who didn't just paint, but crafted dreams with his brush. Sesshu Toyo was a name that has been etched in the history of art. Ancient Japan, where ink painting was a form of storytelling. Sesshu, who was armed with innovation, didn't just follow the traditional lines, but bent and redefined them. His techniques were like a symphony, bringing nature and emotion onto the canvas. His art wasn't just about ink and paper, it was about capturing the soul of his subjects. Whether it was a serene landscape or a bold brushstroke that hinted at a hidden truth, Sesshu was a master of depth and subtlety. His influence didn't end when the ink dried. Sesshu's impact on Japanese art was like an evergreen forest. He wasn't just an artist, he was a pioneer who crafted a path that artists still walk today. From forgotten innovators to hidden heroes that remained behind the curtains of history, but had an extraordinary mark in their fields. History is a vast landscape, filled with countless stories waiting to be discovered. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and ring the bell to stay tuned for more mind-blowing tales. If you've got some hidden gems of history and would like us to explore them, drop them in the comments below.